After graduating from the University of Michigan and marrying a fellow geologist, Robert Berner was prepared to become a petroleum geologist like his brother.
He said, "You're smart enough to go on for a PhD?" I said, "Oh no, come on, I'll never make it." So I did spend the summer doing field work and geology, looking for oil, but then I went on to Harvard.
He and his wife Elizabeth moved to Boston, launching his distinguished 5-decade academic career. It was Berner who worked out where the Earth's oxygen, carbon dioxide, and sulfur came from over vast timescales, hundreds of millions of years. He changed our thinking about early diagenesis, the process by which a sediment turns into a rock near the surface of the Earth. He showed that under the right conditions, bacteria, a living organism, could help make pyrite, a common mineral, in less than 1,000 years. But it all started with a stink. While a graduate student at Harvard, Berner noticed something interesting in the rotten egg-smelling mudflats of a nearby saltwater marsh. Underneath the top layer of reddish-brown soil, there was a black layer.
I got very interested in what the black stuff was.
He discovered that it was a novel iron sulfide mineral, the first step in the diagenesis of pyrite. He tried to find that mineral in other places, cleverly reasoning that bacteria could synthesize iron sulfide while feeding on rusting iron and decaying organic material.
So I got down to this foul-smelling mud, and some kids were walking over the bridge in that area, looked down at me, and they were laughing at me, and I said, "Don't laugh, kids, I'm looking for gold down here." Maybe they come down to help me because this iron sulfide eventually converts to pyrite, FeS2, and that's fool's gold, so I'm not lying completely. Well, the kids looked at me and they just shook their heads and said, "It ain't worth it, mister."
It was worth it to Berner. He found his mineral. He then searched for it in ocean sediments on a Scripps Institution of Oceanography research vessel. When the deckhands brought up a core of sediment,
I would sniff the bottom of it. If it didn't stink, I wasn't interested. Well, the deckhands would say, "You nuts or something?"
When he got a good core, he took it down to his lab, an unventilated bait tank. One time, deadly levels of hydrogen sulfide built up, but Berner was too busy to notice.
Some guy came to the hatch looking down on the lab, and he went down, he grabbed me, and he said, "Get out of here." If he hadn't come down and got me, I would have died.
Despite his brush with death, Berner persevered and finished the analysis. He joined the faculty at the University of Chicago before moving to Yale in 1965. He remained there until retiring from active research in 2007. Much of his research focused on sulfur in rocks and sediments. He realized that chemical reactions involving sulfur were a major source of the oxygen and carbon dioxide needed for life.
Calcium sulfate and iron sulfide pyrite are the two principal sources of sulfur in rocks, and when they weather, they give off sulfate.
Sulfate dissolves in water and eventually gets washed into the ocean, where it cycles back into minerals and free oxygen. Some rocks get buried deep in the earth, where moving continents grind or metamorphose them. Some sulfur escapes through volcanoes, but most is released through rock weathering. Berner ingeniously linked carbon to the sulfur cycle in his geo-carbsulf model. That allowed him to track another biologically important molecule, CO2. His models gave us new insight into how oxygen, carbon dioxide, plants, animals, and minerals influence each other over millions of years. Berner's approach to life is always to find new and interesting things. He taught himself music composition and enough about wine to be inducted into the exclusive Burgundy Wine Society.
A person should keep teaching themselves what they need to do to solve their problem and don't limit to what they were formally trained at.
Because what matters most to him is solving important problems.
If I think a theory that's kind of wishy-washy, I want to figure it out and try to get it more precise. I want to get to the core of the matter.
Robert A. Berner was awarded the 2013 Benjamin Franklin Medal in Earth and Environmental Science.